Hey you guys, welcome back to Smiley Said It. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about my girl, Anne Hathaway, who plays Andy. The Devil Wears Prada came out in 2006. It is of course, one of my favorite movies. I wanted to talk about this because this movie is a classic. It is a classic for everybody. The Devil Wears Prada Part 2 comes out May 1st, I believe it is, next year. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I'm bringing my homegirls, I'm bringing my sister. We are all going to go see this movie, obviously. Anne Hathaway plays Andy. A lot of women will never stop relating to Andy because when you want to make a change in your career, you have to compromise. A lot of people reacted to this film on YouTube, and her boyfriend Nate, they're a young couple. They're in New York City. Nate is a sous chef and he does reductions pretty much all day, every day, according to what he said. Being in New York City, yeah, you should be able to do more things. Are you just doing that all day and don't have any other hobbies, any other interests? Who knows? Andy decided to take up a year to change things up a little bit for her resume.
I just have to stick it out for a year. 1 year. And then I can do what I came to New York to do.
Runway Magazine is the company that she's working for under Miranda, who is played by Meryl Streep. Andy did not have the support that she actually needed from her friends or her boyfriend. And I'm going to tell you why her boyfriend and her group of so-called friends were trash in the end. They may have been great in the beginning, in the middle, even towards the end of the film, but the conclusion is they were not there for her. I'm going to start with my background and I'm going to talk about how I ended up in the fashion industry myself. I've always wanted to go to LA. I've always wanted to be in the scene, in the mix, after watching The Hills and Laguna Beach back in the day.
I want to be like the fun party PR girl in LA type of thing. So that's kind of what I went to. Kind of more like the party scene.
I was in foster care, by the way, and around that time when like Laguna Beach and The Hills were like popping or whatever. So like that show was my escapism. I decided to go to FIDM, Fashion Institute of Design Merchandising in LA. And that's the school that Lauren Conrad attended. And it was on the show of The Hills. I got accepted and it was a big deal. I wanted to do fashion merchandising and I had to sketch out designs for like sportswear, nightwear, swimwear. They liked what I had. So I got accepted. I went out there about 2 months before I was supposed to be starting, but I had to pay, I think it was like $2,800 or something like that, which I couldn't afford at the time. So I came back to Boston because, yeah, that failed. And so I went to school for entertainment management as my major here in Boston. And I got my degree and I worked in film production for a while. I used my skills in photography and videography, and I started doing press for New York Fashion Week. I worked, I think, 2 seasons, 2 years technically doing New York Fashion Week press. My work speaks for itself. It was a care that was put into the movie that I loved, and it was also just like the full-on production of it. They took this movie seriously. This film could have been easily considered a flop if it wasn't taken seriously, if it didn't have the actors that it had in it, if it didn't have the script, if it didn't have like the actual intent of the film and the realism of it. I don't know if this movie would have succeeded. Thanks to everybody that made this movie what it is today, to the point where we now have a part 2, thankfully, next year. Andy's boyfriend is Nate, and he is a sous chef. Anyone that's been to New York or knows about New York knows it's not that easy to break into the food industry. And he had his own hopes and dreams as well. You know, I'm not going to take that away from him. Which brings me to the point of why did he feel so compelled to not understand how busy my girl Andy would be? Where's Nate's friends? Like, does he have his own group of friends or does he share the same group of friends as Andy? I didn't understand why he was so upset at Andy being busy doing her job. They agreed they were going to be there for a year. All he had to do was just toughen it out, you know, try to be there for her because she clearly was stressed out. Even like in the beginning, the first act, Andy would come home stressed out. He even got her a glass of wine to unwind during the night and made her a grilled cheese sandwich. And she couldn't even eat the grilled cheese sandwich. Who's going to turn down a grilled cheese sandwich? Who's turning down a grilled cheese sandwich after a long day of work? Someone that works under Miranda is going to turn down a grilled cheese sandwich. And she did. That should have been his first sign. I think it kind of was. And they would joke about it. You know, they would joke about the clothes and the models and the importance of fashion, etc., which is understandable because, again, she was new to the industry. And so it's not like she became this new person wearing fashion designer clothes and he's kind of like, who's this person that I decided to be my girlfriend? After he was away for a while and came back, he was there during the whole process of her change. If he cared enough or knew enough, he would have done his own research about the fashion industry to be there for her. Did he ever look up designers during his free time that he was off at work while at home waiting for her? Did he decide to look up who Miranda was and the importance of and the stressfulness of what it's like to work under her authority? Did he actually invest into Andy's career besides being at home being grumpy that she's like making her job for a year a priority, regardless if even if it was not under fashion, it would have been under the news column, it would have been under a different industry within journalism, because that is her goal. He was there for her in the beginning. He was like, yeah, I'll be there for you, yeah. But the moment the attention was taken away from him, he was like, what's going on? You're changing. He thought it was funny when she would come home stressed out. Literally, like, he would laugh at how stressed out she was about this job. I swear to you, like, looking back, why does it feel like he gaslit her during the whole process until the moment it didn't serve him anymore? The moment she wasn't being the girlfriend that he knew in the beginning before she took the job, he took it personally, which I'm not going to be like, oh, you're a bad person for it. He's not a bad guy for that. When Andy started to wear like the actual clothes from her job, the designer clothes, he loved it. He walked past her, then looked back and was like, oh, who's this girl? This is my girlfriend. You know, he liked the new change. Until he didn't. She fell into being the actual character that wore those clothes. He was like, nah, you're doing too much. Let's talk about the dinner. The scene at dinner with Nate and her friends is really telling. It sets the tone for the rest of the movie with the dynamic that her friends and Nate has, basically. When Andy said that it turns out that Runway magazine is more than just like purses and bags, you know what Nate said? Nate said that she's drinking a Kool-Aid.
The thing is, it turns out that there is more to Runway than just fancy purses. Look, here's an essay by Jay McInerney, a piece by Joan Didion, even an interview with Christiane Amanpour.
Looks like someone's been drinking the Kool-Aid.
After Andy gave her friend Lily a designer bag, an exclusive designer bag from her job, by the way, he decides to say that to her. She's not drinking the Kool-Aid. She's actually gaining the purpose and the perks of her job as she should. And as you clearly should be grateful for. And her friends are too. At the time, at the moment anyways. They were playing hot potato with her phone while it was ringing from work. The same job that provided the gifts that she gave her friend at the table. And they thought it was funny.
Nate.
I got it. It's, yep, the dragon lady.
Miranda. Let me talk to her. No, let that thing up. It's gonna answer. It's gonna answer. The top is gonna make. Give me the phone.
You know how stressed out she is. Imagine having a stressful job and your friends are like reaping the benefits of it and are enjoying the perks of it. And then when it comes time to actually you working, they want to manipulate and play with that. I'm sorry. Maybe I took it literal, but that was not cool. And she called them assholes as she should have, because they were. And they looked at her like she did something wrong when she called them that. Real friends would know, like, if you're stressed out over a job, whether you're working for Google, a law firm, or anything like that, having a support group and a community is very important during stressful, especially a new job, a new career. It was telling in that moment, they didn't take her job seriously, which means they didn't take her seriously, which means why are you here? Lily and Andy have known each other for 16 years. When homeboy leaned in to give her a kiss on her cheek or whatever, she made it seem like Andy is the one that was cheating, okay, on her boyfriend. And it's like, no, you clearly seen that he leaned on me and she was like, well, you've changed. What happened to you?
Yeah, that looked like work.
Look, you're making a big deal
You
out of
know, the Andy I know is madly in love with Nate. He's always 5 minutes early and thinks, oh, Club Monaco is couture. For the last 16 years, I've known everything about that Andy. But this person, this glamazon who skulks around in corners with some random hot fashion guy, I don't get her.
Lily.
You're the models. You're this glamazon. Who are you? Yeah, you deserve to go to Paris. Yeah. And here comes Nate.
You going to Paris?
Yeah, it just happened.
I thought Paris was a big deal for Emily. Or...
That overhears us saying that. And he's like, oh, you're going to Paris? He didn't even have to say that. Like, he didn't even have to say that in that moment. He could have been like, oh, you're going to Paris? You know, like, maybe excited for her. I don't know. Or even inquisitive. Even if he wasn't excited, like inquisitive, right? But it was how he said it. Why are you concerned about another woman when your woman is going to Paris for her career, for her dream job that will lead up to her dream job anyways? I already seen the underlining of it all. Like, I was like, ooh, Nate, I see you. I see you, Nate. I'm not happy for her because why would you bring that up? All right, is it just me? I'm 33 years old, but I don't care about people missing my birthday. Yeah, if you're in a relationship, birthdays are important for a lot of people, but if you have a career change, if you're stressed out, if your mind is not where it's usually at, and someone's birthday comes up that's important to you and you forget it, that person that understands you, who knows you, right? And they know also that you're going through a certain stressful situation, why are you mad at the person that forgot your birthday? But they still try to make it up. Literally, she had a little cupcake with a little candle, and he was still all pouty about it. Grow the up. It's not that serious. Celebrate your birthday over the weekend or another day. Going through her own stuff and you made it about you and your birthday. Miranda needed someone to mold. Andy was a perfect fit. If you know that I'm making a career change, someone like myself who has changed plenty of careers and jobs over the years, I always keep a job, but it's always a different job. So I know what that's like. I have friends that were always like, oh my God, you're always having a new job. But they were always there if I needed them. Andy and Nate rekindled things in the end. He got a job in Boston, my city, which is a good city for food. So let's see in part 2 if they end up in Boston together. I don't know. I'm excited. I feel like her friends could have been way more supportive. I wonder, like, did Andy and Lily ever, like, get back together, like, as being friends? Or was it the end for them, the little museum or art show, whatever the hell that was, when she confronted Andy about being kissed, as if Andy made out with him full-fledged? If your friends are not changing as you age together, then there's a problem. Maybe you should go your separate ways, you know, and it's okay. It's not a bad thing to change. And they literally like chastised Andy for changing. She's only changing for the purpose of her moving up for her career. Yes, she made it her priority. You know, sometimes we have to make our jobs a priority over our friendships. That's just life. It's not a it's not a new concept. And I'm so glad that Andy's father was there. Andy's dad was like, okay, you're doing too much. Like, you're a little bit too busy. But he was still there for her because that's his daughter. But unfortunately, her friends and her boyfriend was not giving her the same vibe as far as support goes. You can only live for yourself. You can only live so much for other people. And until it becomes too much, you have to reevaluate some things, you know? That's all. I'll see you guys in the next video. So take care, peace, love, and happiness.